So, my friends, welcome, welcome. Uh, looks like almost everybody here. I recognize your faces, so don't need to do an introduction for new people. But as new people come in, you're just so welcome to join us. I wanted to start today. I had a little correction on what we've been calling the harmonoids. I had a little niggle like, okay, I think maybe I'm not doing this entirely accurately. And so I went in, I went, what did the harmonoids say? And they said, so first of all, this is from Kurt Vonnegut, and it's from his book, The Sirens of Titan, and they're the harmoniums. And the harmoniums, one of the things they say I was accurate about, which is here I am, here I am. And but the other, how they respond to it is so glad you are, so glad you are. And to me, that has even more of poetry. So I wanted to, I think of here I am, here I am, here I am, and so glad you are, so glad you are, as a form of love scoops. And so I wanted to invite you into that of letting yourself play a little bit with how are you today? So when you show up, here I am, let yourself kind of bodify here I am. So it could be here I am, 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 and then so glad you are. And taking the so glad you are into any place in you that's wanting a little bit more attention, and that you're also letting yourself declare, here I am, here I am, here I am, and so glad you are. And I also find that I kind of want to do a little jiggling, I want to do a little wiggling. I can see Nicole wants to stand up, so let yourself involve as much as you of this as you want to. And it is a kind of a fear melter, of you're letting yourself sort of declare, here I am, and then you can feel into whatever's going on, and then the connecting. I'm so glad you are, so glad you are. To me, that has, I just love that combination. And also I want it to be accurate as much as possible. Although it is like playing telephone with, new things that we learn. I'm about to sneeze. Sometimes I startle my cats when I sneeze. It's like, Lata! My cats go, whoop! So that's one of the expressions that might occur. Actually, something's got me. I think I might sneeze again. So this takes.
Oh, did Katie freeze? Let's all wiggle. Maybe if we wiggle, Katie will come back. There she is.
Oh,
You
was I
froze.
frozen?
You
I
froze, so I
froze.
said, let's wiggle. Maybe we'll wiggle you back.
Yeah, we've been having with the rains here in Ojai, sometimes the just recommend the here I am. You can declare that to the universe, you can declare that to the glad you are, and welcome yourself into whatever situation you're in. So you can use this throughout the day. And as I do it, now notice some of your body sensations and notice if you're feeling more flow. Are you feeling more opening? So the for me, and also I settle because what I'm feeling is that right now there's so much disruption from so many areas that that's how I consider what we're doing, the loop of awareness. So now take that. And you don't have to say that, but the loop of awareness allows you. Oh, it looks like, yep,
Pretty sticky today. Hmm.
Not working. Let me see.
Yeah, pretty sticky today.
Yeah, it's pretty sticky today. My apologies. So, in the meantime, are we unstuck again now? We're this will be the nope, not okay.
We must be out of sync because we can hear you now.
Oh, you can. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Well, if this is going to be a start stop kind of a day. So so in all of this, you can let yourself do loop of awareness. And what I wanted to suggest is a kind of a touch point for you is to notice your body sensations and to notice your breath. And then when you look out to other people, let yourself wonder about what they're experiencing and how they're breathing. So, breathing and body sensations are such a, here we are, here's what's going on, orienting yourself to the current reality. And so, I want to suggest to you that also, loop of awareness, one of the things this will do is reset. So if we get stuck again, let yourself just do some loop of awareness and maybe add in some wiggling, and we'll see if we can unfreeze things. But as we're moving around in the world, my sense is that you're going to get thrown off. I'm with whatever is going on, and so coming back to body sensations and breath allows you to locate yourself and simply shifting your attention. So I'd like you to notice, is your attention wanting to go more out right now, or is it wanting to go more in? So some of you may feel like, I just want to go back in my cave and I'm just going to stay there. And I may be there for 4 years, but I'm just going to take lots of provisions. But if you're but you got to go to the grocery store sometimes. And so looping out again, if you're letting yourself notice other people's body sensations and other people's breath, what it does for you is just break up any kind of log jam that where you're caught. You might be caught in a freeze or another fear response. And so just simply shifting, and it sounds very simple, but that shifting is really the basis of you being able to expand your awareness and be able to locate yourself no matter what else is going on around you. So here I am, so glad you are. And then shifting between noticing, particularly, I will notice my body sensations, and then that allows me to notice where I am. Here I am. Here I am. My body sensations locate me. And then from there, I'm much more able to notice what's going on around me. So that's, would like to move now to the card. Our one of the things we explore in these sessions is an integrity card. So I'd love for you to look at that and let yourself imagine. Well, look at the card and then notice how that impacts your breathing and any body sensations. And then let yourself kind of go out into the card again and then come back to you and notice any your breathing or your body sensations. And I'd like to read this to you while you're doing that. Oh, look at that. It's talking about your body sensations. I actually had forgotten that. My body sensations and inner experience guide me to know when I'm concealing and when I have something to reveal. So I'm going to say that again. My body sensations and inner experience guide me to know when I am concealing and when I have something to reveal. And then the question is, in what ways can my body sensations and experiences guide me to know when I'm concealing and when I have something to reveal. And this is from the section conscious communication, which also has to do with shifting. So notice if any of the images really speak to you, speak to your body experience, and then which of and how that connects to you. Which is there anything familiar that comes up for you? And the whole question of when I'm concealing and when I'm revealing is such a valuable one. I'd like to come on back to the big group because I would like to talk about this a little bit. We have a saying, excuse me, that some of you know from conscious loving, which is withhold, withdraw, project. And that's probably one of the most valuable phrases in conscious loving and the most useful, because if you were meant to express that whole thing we were doing earlier of here I am, I'm so glad you are, that we're meant to express it. And if we withhold that, it takes measurable physical energy to withhold. And so we withdraw. And when we withdraw, we get disconnected. We get disconnected from us and we get disconnected from others. And so that disconnection, when I'm experiencing that, what I look for is what have I withheld? Because it's almost always, and it's not the thing. So don't go looking for, oh, I've got some big thing that I'm withholding. It's not that, it's the act of withholding. So when you withhold, it literally sort of unthwacks you from the flow and you're kind of floating around out there in space. And the moment that you even say, oh, this is, I'm aware of withholding, I don't know what it is, that is already got you back into expressing. So when I express, even if I'm willing to express, that also opens the flow in me. And almost always, if I'm in a transition, and we're almost always in a transition, there's something about that that may want to be expressed that's also scary. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know how you're going to feel about that. I want to say something, but I'm scared to because I don't know how you're going to react. So those are all expressions. And those are expressions of what you're actually experiencing. So uh, in a form that makes sense, and I have to understand it. And I have to thought something, I don't quite know what it is. That's an accurate expression. Oh, and it looked like that got the frozenness going again. And so I think we're illustrating what to kind of fill until you get back in flow again. So working with technology. So if you're feeling particularly any kind of flatness in your relationships, especially any of your close relationships, where it's like, or you're feeling a little bit of irritation, or like, things aren't, you're starting to kind of criticize the other person in your mind, you probably have a withhold. And it may not be about them. That's the other thing, is that if I'm having this experience, I think it's about you. And it's most likely not in you. And you're not willing to just simply express that. So that this card has been very, very helpful for me. And my sense is too that you're going to have lots of situations, particularly in the political climate we're in now, where you're going to wonder, should I withhold? I want to say something, but is it okay to say something? And so I also want to invite you to have 1 to 5 friends with whom you can blurt, with whom you can be unedited, so that you can rant, or you can collapse, or you can say, I don't know what's going on, but I'm just blah, 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 and they'll receive your communication and not say, well, what do you think that was about? And why did that happen? And what do you think is wrong with you that you're feeling that way? uh, or will not attack you. So you don't have to communicate fully with everybody in the world, but it's so valuable to have just a few people with whom you can just, because again, that keeps the flow of aliveness and discovery and being in connection with you and being in connection with the world. So that I would like to also share with you. And then I want to share our Presence Connect play for today. For those of you who have not maybe been in our gatherings, we also share from our free app that's called Presence Connect Play. It's my intention to provide a blueprint for people that can replace the drama triangle of the hero, the victim, villain. Because I've found that as I've been learning and practicing presencing myself, connecting, and then playing, I don't have a need for the drama triangle. It really has replaced the drama triangle for me, and that's been very exciting. So here's present is get curious with So a wonderful thing to add to your loop of awareness is a because that shifts you from your critical brain to your wonder brain. And now people are reporting, we've been doing humming for years. And now, again, lovely to experience is that science is now supporting it. All the benefits of humming, that it opens your vagus nerve so that you get more relaxed. And so it's a wonderful sound. That especially if you let yourself notice it, the and you find the pitch and you let it happen through a whole out breath, I find myself settling and I shift into openness. My physical and inner experience is one of like a door opening. Whereas when I'm in my, the doors are closed and I'm separate and you're the bad guy. But when I, there's a possibility of wondering. So I want to invite you this week to add a either that you make yourself or that you let yourself experience on the inside. So imagine a and notice it if it gives you that sense of openness or if you really need to make the sound. Because sometimes, particularly if you're stuck, you'll want to make the sound because that will shift you. And it may take a few to really shift you, especially if something has really thrown you off. But I have found it to be very reliable. And so I wanted to suggest that to you. When I do that, I get more, I presence myself. And then connect. Connect is yes and yes, comma, and add appreciation. So when I'm connecting, whatever is coming at me, if I'm basically saying yes to that. So yes would be, I hear you. Yes, this is what you're expressing. Yes, this is what's going on. And it's not, yes, I agree with you. It's yes, I hear you and I'm receiving that. And then if I add an appreciation, so for example, oh, thanks for sharing that with me. I'm imagining that that was a difficult thing for you to say. Or when you said that, oh, I felt my breath open up. That's another kind of appreciation when you share the positive impact of the person's expression to you. So this whole what I notice is that there are some people when I'm communicating with them, I say something, they receive it, and then they add something to it. And that's what in improv they call yes and. And I so appreciate people who receive and then they're adding to what I say and then handing it back to me. Because then we're actually building and collaborating through our connection. And so I've noticed that some people are really skilled at that. And so if you have somebody in your life like that, notice how they do that and how you might learn how to add that. Because especially if something challenging or that I experience as threatening comes at me, I find I drop the ball instead of going, oh, yes. So I could also say, whoa, I noticed that my cheek got hot when you said that. Oh, and I just caught my breath. So if you're in a, more of a contentious interaction, you can still practice this. But I suggest that when you're starting to practice it, you practice with your friends with whom you can have that open communication, because you can say, whoa, when that one landed, it felt like, a big ton of dirt that landed in my lap. And I'm not sure I'm really grateful for that. But you're adding to it, but you're playing with receiving and then adding to, because our habit is receiving and then going or not receiving, just bouncing it off, and we think that's communication, but that's really not communication. It's really much more of a fight. And so to turn a fight into communication, you're actually receiving and adding to. And again, that moves you from stuck and no flow into flow, and then where you have more possibility of communication. So I expect you to have this perfectly by Wednesday. So get to it, start practicing. And then play is letting your body get strong and then light. And you may think, well, what the heck does that have to do with play? So, the way our bodies operate in movement is how we experience our weight, not how much we weigh, but our actual physical substance, our weight, our presence has everything to do with our impact in the world. And so, if you're not in your weight, and I think a lot of people are not in their weight right now, they're sort of limp. So let yourself just try on being sort of limp or heavy, and notice how when I do that, I just feel like, oh, it's all helpless, it's all hopeless, I'm helpless, they're hopeless, no, they're helpless, I'm hopeless. And I get caught up in my thoughts. But when I start really letting myself either get really light, like last night, I was doing a little mending. I had a hole in a blouse. And so I was threading a needle, which I haven't done for some time. My eyes have changed. That was one thing I was noticing. I was like, but how I was using my body was withholding my weight. And what I mean by that was that I got very, like, imagine yourself what you need to do to thread a needle. So notice what happens to your body when you do that. Or if you're getting ready to toss a balloon. So that quality in your body of light is sometimes how you're going to want to approach yourself. Like if you're just feeling really overwhelmed, you're going to want to approach yourself with more of a light touch. Or if you're in a situation you can see somebody's really upset, if you want to, or they're dealing with something challenging, you're not going to just barge in there and go, just buck up. The only thing you have to fear is fear itself. So just get on with it. So that lightness can be incredibly helpful when you're wanting to give yourself contact, but you're wanting to be delicate with yourself. Now, strong doesn't mean that you push people around. It means that you feel your oomph. So when you go to locate your oomph in you, one of the places you can go is in your back, just below your shoulder blades. So if you're putting your hand on someone's back, like I've got your back, that's the area that you're probably going to touch. You're not going to touch up, you're going to touch in that area. And so let yourself imagine being supported there and opening to your oomph, your ability to move things. So sometimes when we're playing with it, we imagine pushing a piano across the floor, or getting wet towels out of the washing machine. And the way that you organize your body gives you that sense of strength. And so if you're wanting to play, when you approach things, letting your body be either strong or light allows you to have impact. So sometimes you are going to want to have a big impact. And, even if you're like sending a petition, like I send my petitions out with oomph behind them. So I want them to have a lot of impact in the world. But even if I'm just wanting to just feel, experience my ability to have impact, I can get in touch with strong because it lets me know, oh, I can. Right now, I don't feel that I have much impact. But when I locate myself in my body, I can feel that and I can build on that so that when I choose to use it, I can actually use it. So thank you very much for being with me in the exploration. So each week for me now is going to be really different. I just don't know what I'm going to want to bring up. And I really appreciate you coming to explore because one of the big things that we can do with each other is show up and be here with each other. And so if there is a particular kind of attention that you would like, please put it in the chat because each time I want to do some version of here I am, so glad you are, because one of the things we can give to each other is the loop of awareness and our loving attention. So thank you for bringing your loving attention. Let it pour over you and let it pour over people you care about and maybe even the people you don't care about. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Mwah. Take care.